perspective, but just diversity and inclusion more generally. It feels, when I walk in the room and I see familiar faces, it's always nice and comforting, but it does feel like I've gone full circle. It does feel like I often refer to coming to Network Plus as coming back or coming home. Never worked for Network Plus or Gallagher's, but I was at Enterprise and Amy, and a lot of the people who are in the business now were part of those businesses as well. And actually we work closely with Gallagher's and Network Plus, so I know a lot of individuals. And I guess to go really a complete circle, I grew up in Astley, obviously just down the road. Some of you might sort of live there now, I'm guessing. And I left at 16 years of age, primarily because my family that I grew up in was pretty dysfunctional. Mum was a raging alcoholic, stepdad died from alcoholism. Growing up in that environment was pretty tough. And I guess that probably wasn't something I'd have said in open forums probably several years ago. But most recently I've been working at United Utilities, and they do a lot in this space, whether it's D&I, women in the business, and just get the conversation on the table. And the reason I wanted to share that is because we said everybody's got a story, you know, and actually that's what makes us who we are. And certainly from my point of view, that is what gets me out of bed in the morning, and making sure I'm better and I provide better opportunities for my kids and the people I work with than the ones I had potentially, you know, sort of as a 16-year-old back then. So I guess I'll come back to that because I think it is important. I did end up going to uni. That was primarily because I didn't know what else to do, and I think I wanted to be a footballer when I was 14, and my nan realised I was crap, and she basically said, look, get your qualifications, and it sort of stuck with me until she passed away. And I thought, yeah, I've got to do this. So I went to uni and qualified in something I never ever wanted to really do, and I ended up in utilities at Enterprise, and some of you were at Enterprise as well. I think the point of sharing that is because actually at Enterprise it was very macho culture. I mean, I remember once arriving one morning and genuinely, and I think it was someone who Dave used to work with, used to sit there clocking people in and out, and if you weren't in at 6:30 in the morning, there was no point in going in because you were on the naughty list, you know, when you were getting spoken to, and if it happened too many times, you probably weren't going to be there very long. I mean, I'm glad to say the sex has come on a long way since then, but it was very sort of macho culture, very male dominated, very sort of JFDI, just get on and do it, get it done, don't ask questions, don't show any emotions. And a lot of people in the room would have grown up in that culture, and I suppose one side of it is you do become probably a bit more resilient, but it's just wrong, you know, and it ain't particularly inviting, is it, to people coming into the sector, whether that's women, people of different backgrounds, different cultures, etc. So, you know, we have moved a long way, but we have got a lot more to do as a business. I think in terms of, I mentioned the UU journey, I've been at UU for 5 years. They, being a client organisation, they probably had more focus on this in that sense of well-being, looking after people. Really interesting because again, on a personal level, we discovered that my son has ADHD through that. We would never have known if I hadn't been at UU, and that was just getting conversations on the table, sharing issues, sharing problems, people opening up about what they're going on, you know, what's going on in their own lives, how we have to support them, etc. And it was eye-opening. It was really eye-opening when I was getting scrutinised by a child psychiatrist, and she turned around to me and said, it's you, it runs in the family, he gets it off you. And then they start going back over time thinking, actually, yeah, this does absolutely resonate. But again, it wasn't something I would share, and I'm not just sharing this for, you know, sort of no obvious reason. Whether it's this wider D&I, mental health and wellbeing, as an organisation, as we get bigger, we've got to get much better at getting these conversations on the table, because the reality is, it ain't just individuals who are impacted. You know, everybody has, you know, is on a journey, everybody comes from a particular background. What makes us different, and what will make us different as a business as we grow, is if we embrace that diversity, and whether that's background, whether that's male or female, or any other, you know, aspect of that, whether it's race, culture, etc. We've got to engulf that, because quite frankly, I joined Network Plus, we sit there as a leadership team every Friday, we're all very male and pale, we've got Victoria, who's part of the team, and that's it. You know, genuinely, that is it. You know, when the reality is we can do all of this stuff, but culturally, if we don't start shifting that dynamic in the years to come, and we've got a great opportunity with growth, but if we don't shift it, the words and the music don't match. You know, we can stand there in front of you and talk to you all day long, but unless that dynamic starts to change, it doesn't really mean a lot. so it is important that we do something about it.